MC Knight here. Welcome to the Dragon's Lair. This is episode 41. I am here standing on top of 3 shulker boxes, and you might be wondering, what are these 3 shulker boxes for? Well, they are what's going to take place in this episode. You also might hear the rumble of minecarts, and you might think, okay, well, that isn't a noise that I've heard before. And that's because you haven't. Not here in my house. And that's another part of what's going to take place today. So, in this shulker box, I got a bunch of blocks of iron. In this shulker box, I got a bunch of eggs. And in this shulker box, I've got some soul sand, the wither skeleton skulls, some obsidian, some more obsidian, and some glass. Now, for those of you who are veteran Minecraft players, you might have an idea of what I'm up to. So first, let me take you downstairs, because up until this point, I have not been concerned about eggs. And, well, now eggs became a little bit more important to me. So in here, for the most part, this all looks the same, except I have all the animals I tied up to a fence post over there with leads. And then you'll see I have a hole dug down in the ground here. And that's because I've been placing a collection system in. And this collection system goes over here to this chest, which gives me eggs. Now, for those of you that aren't very avid Minecraft players, you might be wondering, what are the eggs for? Well, first, let me explain to you. You might have figured out, well, let me put it this way. You might have figured out what this is for. At least this part, the soul sand and the wither skulls. For those of you that are a little more experienced, you have an idea why I have the obsidian. That is because I want to spawn withers, and then from the withers I'm going to get the nether star, and I have all the items here that I'll be able to make 1 stack of beacons. When I spawn the wither, I want to throw a whole bunch of eggs and spawn as many chickens as possible, so that when this wither spawns, he's going to kill those chickens and I'm going to get wither roses. All the blocks of iron are because I want to come back here and I want to place some mega beacons. So you might not be familiar with what and I might not be calling them correct. I like to call them mega beacons. Basically, it's where you put 6 beacons together, and it gives you the maximum range for the beacons, and you can have all the abilities enabled at one time. So I want to place them around the base, and to make it that everywhere that we are here in the base, we're going to have all the special abilities that you get from a beacon. So it's just about nighttime, so I'm going to sleep, and then I'm going to go down and finish up on the egg collection system, and then we're going to go ahead and we're going to start spawning some withers. So I finished up with the collection system underneath. And now the minecarts are rolling along. They're picking up the eggs. You might have just seen that one that got picked up over there. Now, you might have the question of, how am I going to collect those eggs? Well, let me show you. So if I go over here to the other side, I put an iron door in and a button. And so now I can access the eggs from in here. I put a button in here so I can get back out. I do want to maybe swap some of these dirt out with stone bricks. I probably don't want to do it for that one because that one's actually the floor for the animals up there. Now you might also ask yourself, in a prior episode I said about that I would like to build almost like a barn or something for all the animals and store them in and actually start, getting a good collection. I'd like to get a stable for the horses, for donkey, and I also want to get another donkey and make a couple mules, and I want to get some llamas. And so I'm looking to, I'd like to at some point make a stable and a barn for all the animals. And so you might wonder, well, what's going to happen in here at that point? And my short answer to that right now is I don't know. I will cross that bridge somewhere along the line when it happens, but that ain't going to happen for a while. Anyway, I think it's about time. Let me pop up here. I have the shulker box with the eggs and the shulker box with the soul sand, wither skeleton skulls, and the obsidian. I think it's about time to go to the end and see about spawning some withers. No, I am not in the end. Since I recorded the last section, I started thinking about it, and I thought I remembered hearing something along the way that the trapping the wither in the underneath the end portal didn't work anymore. And so I did a little bit of research and I did some experimenting, and I came to realize that that was true. And so I cannot do my original plan, but I am gonna go back to the way I did things previously. We're gonna dig out a tunnel here, a fairly long tunnel, and we're going to spawn the wither down here. I am in the mine shaft, the mine area that I had made underneath my starter base. And so I'm going to spawn some withers, and well, I'll show you what happens. So I had set up a staging area here for where the wither's going to spawn. And then I also have a place here that I've been throwing eggs to spawn some chickens. Now, 2 of them went over here. I don't think that's going to end very well for them. It's not going to end very well for any of them, but hopefully some of them will at least stay out here so that when the wither spawns, it doesn't kill them right from the spawn. And I haven't had a whole lot of success throwing the eggs. So now I think it's about time to go ahead and spawn the wither. So I am a quarter of the way through the wither skeleton skulls that I have. I've got 16 nether stars. I did pick up 6 wither roses. I stopped throwing eggs down. I don't really have all that many eggs left. I've only got uh, 7 stacks left. And so I I did have to pop a totem of death. One of them one of the battles that I had probably saw the wither got, I think he got up real high, and I had trouble, and I ended up getting a little bit too close to him. Oh, I remember what happened. I had the opening there, and I was backing up, and it was where I was putting the eggs down, and I got to the side like this, and I couldn't go back, and ended up taking damage from him. But I end up beating him before I died, and then it's like I ended up having to pop a totem right after he died. So anyway, I am gonna keep on going here, and I will check back in with you later. So I now have 66 nether stars. I was only going to do a stack, and then I thought about it. Well, if I do 2 more, then I can do 11 mega beacons. And so I decided that I would do 2 more withers. And so I needed to go back to the wither skeleton farm and pick up 6 more skeleton heads. And I got some more soul sand. I also needed to go back and grab some more stone because I ran out, and some torches. So now I'm going to go ahead and take all this back to the base. I also picked up 14 deep slate diamond ore, and I got some lapis that the withers dropped. But anyway, I'm going to grab this, and I'm going to head back to the base, and we're going to make some beacons and figure out where we're going to go ahead and place them. I am back at the base. I am going to go ahead and I'm going to grab the glass, the obsidian, and the stack of beacons. And now we can make one whole stack. And then I'm going to grab the rest of glass, obsidian, and wither stars and make the last 2 beacons. So now I've got 66 beacons, and I got some more stuff that I need to put away, and then I need to figure out where I'm going to place all these beacons. So I am outside of the Coliseum here, and I decided that I am going to start by placing 6 beacons right here. So I need to do a little bit of inventory management here. So that I have room for all the material that I'm going to dig up. You know what? Nope, I didn't need to take that one away. Alright, I am going to take this one away. That's going to be my access to go up and down. And so we're going to I'm actually thinking I'm going to have to put another slab there to make that a full slab. So I have the first mega beacon down. I put glass over the top here, so you can still walk into the sorting system. And I also have the ladder going down. But as it turns out, this one actually meets up with part of the mine down there, so I could actually access it that way. So I placed a total of 9 of the super beacons. So I've got one there at the entrance to the Coliseum. I have one here. I have one over there by the between the sugarcane farm and the villager trading hall. And then I got one over here, kind of right in the middle of the pathway. Then back here, I've got one up here. You can't see it just yet. Sure, it'll pop up soon. There. Then I've got another one right here. Then I've got one right here. And we'll go around this way. I think it's going to be a little bit quicker. Oh, no, I took the long way. A little bit slower. Then I've got one here. And the last one that I have placed is right over here. Now, I still have enough beacons left to make 2 more. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to place one of them right here. And then the other one I am going to place right here on the other side of the Coliseum. If I go into the sorting system and I come towards the back here, then I start losing the enhanced abilities. So I placed these roughly about 50 blocks apart from each other. Some of them are a little bit more, a little less. I had to kind of adapt because of some of the buildings that are laid out. So I'm going to place those two over there. Those are going to be the last of the super beacons that I have. I didn't want to take the time to dig those out and then finish this video. I wanted to get this video done. It's taken a little bit longer than I wanted it to get finished. And so anyway, I'll put those in at a later date. And then I think I also want to go out another 50 blocks from these, so I'm going to need another 4 more over there. And then I'm thinking I want to go probably at least 1 more over here towards the back. And I might put another 4 more in the back. So I'm probably going to need about 9 more super beacons, which means I'm going to need about another 54 more beacons. So I'm going to have to fight the Wither another 54 more times just to finish at the base. And then I was also thinking that I'm probably going to maybe put some beacons over near a spawn, and I'm not sure, maybe I'll do it at some of the farms that I have. I have to wait and see. I think that's where I'm going to end this video. I appreciate each and every one of you. I hope you have a good morning, good afternoon, whatever it is for you. And I will catch you next time. Until then, I'm MC Knight.